If you watched partisan cable news over the weekend, here's a story you probably didn't hear about since it was somewhat inconvenient for both the left and the right. A story which involved this Justice Department actually stepping in to protect or avenge former President Donald Trump. The left-leaning media may have downplayed the story because it paints Donald Trump in a sympathetic light, or at least as the victim. While for the right-leaning media, it doesn't feed into the narrative that the DOJ under Attorney General Garland is out to get the former president at all costs. A former IRS contractor was charged Friday with leaking former President Trump's tax information to the New York Times from 2018 to 2020. The contractor, Charles Littlejohn, was charged with one count of unauthorized disclosure of tax returns and return information in connection with that leak, as well as the leak of tax information on other public figures, such as Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, to the news outlet ProPublica. The DOJ alleges that Littlejohn, quote, stole tax returns and return information associated with public official A and thousands of the nation's wealthiest people, including returns and return information dating back more than 15 years. He thereafter disclosed the tax information associated with public official A, Trump, to news organization 1, The Times, and other tax information to news organization 2, ProPublica. Both news organizations published numerous articles describing the tax information they obtained from the defendant. Now, you can debate whether Donald Trump should have to disclose his tax returns as a candidate. But the fact is, this guy, Littlejohn, had absolutely no right to take it, allegedly. Trump and Bezos and Musk's private information was stolen. He and they were the victims of a crime. But see, the left-leaning media doesn't like to tell their audience that Donald Trump was wronged. The story received no coverage on MSNBC. None at all. And one segment on CNN when the story broke, and just a few other passing mentions. But it's not like the right-leaning media was shouting this one from the rooftops either. And it's easy to see why. For so long now, the mantra among many on the right has been the witch hunt. They want to argue the Department of Justice is out to get Donald Trump and will stop at nothing to get him. But here the DOJ is once again, yes, as we've talked about, there have been other cases going after someone in defense of Donald Trump. See, it doesn't fit with the narrative of the politicized DOJ. On Fox News, they've done just a handful of reports about the story, and on the network's highest profile opinion shows, only Jesse Waters covered it by spinning a conspiracy theory around it. If this was of more value politically to one side or the other, it would have been everywhere. For Donald Trump, the story is particularly tricky, since he's made no bones about the fact that in a second term, his Justice Department will target political enemies. On Glenn Beck's show, he talked about Hillary Clinton.
Do you regret not locking her up? And if you're president again, will you lock people up?
Well, I'll give you an example. The answer is you have no choice because they're doing it to us.
That obviously stands in stark contrast with how the DOJ is supposed to go about its business. Last night on 60 Minutes, Attorney General Garland made clear he wouldn't tolerate requests from the president to target his top political opponent.
If President Biden asked you to take action with regard to the Trump investigation, what would your reaction be?
I am sure that that will not happen, but I would not do anything in that regard. And if necessary, I would resign. But there is no sense that anything like that will happen.
Have you ever had to tell him, hands off these investigations, Mr. President?
No, because he has never tried to put hands on these investigations.
You know, I got to get a pair of glasses so I can put them in my mouth when I'm asking a question. Makes it seem like, let me ask you this. Would Donald Trump's next attorney general say the same? And that's what makes this story about Trump's stolen tax returns so tough for the right-leaning media to cover. It's hard to imagine, based on what Trump is saying, his administration's Justice Department doing anything to avenge a wrong to Joe Biden. More broadly, the partisan media owed its viewers here more. Left-leaning media ran wild with the salacious details of the Trump tax returns. Right-leaning media cried foul for weeks for those tax details being published. But when it came to light that Donald Trump was the victim of a crime, with the release of those returns, left-leaning media got quiet. And when it came out that Merrick Garland's DOJ had effectively Trump's back on this, right-leaning media got pretty quiet too, which is a disservice to the rest of us. It's a big story. The guy was charged over an issue everyone on cable was talking about for months, if not years. So while the right obsesses over Hunter Biden every night, and the left dissects every piece of minutia of any legal motion involving Donald Trump, neither of them seem particularly interested now when justice is seemingly meted out in a nonpartisan way, since it doesn't benefit either side's narrative. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.